Yeah, gotta aim for the top like, hold up. Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game.
So what's happening, people? Welcome back to the Athletes podcast. Today I'm sitting down with a teammate of mine, a guy that when I came in was somebody that literally walked over and was probably one of the biggest people I had seen in my entire life, but was a gentle giant, shook hands and said what's up to me, to a real small 17-year-old freshman. That was Jason Acquaye. And Jason is, we call him Big J. And like I said, I had never played college football. I'd only been around, my brother who played at Wilkes, and any other teammates that he had or anything else like that. And obviously, some other big time people. But this was a guy that was going to be my teammate. I had no idea what position he played, but I was happy when I found out that he was going to be on the defensive side with me, because when we got to camp, this dude was an absolute monster. So Jay, I'm very proud to have you on the show, because I've been seeing the things that you've been doing, but even more proud that we've stayed in contact since that first day in August of 2005 when I got to campus, and you were the loud dude with the dreads that was just happy to have everybody there. So Jay, welcome to the show, man.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Shout out to you, Ryan, man. You've been doing your thing.
So, man, I appreciate it again, and it's awesome to have you on. And as I told you, the first question I ask everybody, this is a sports podcast, and no matter what sport you play, you always have a reason why you play sports. And that's always the reasoning, that's always the thing that I want to jump into first and foremost. Why was sports, specifically football, because that's what we played in college, but I know you played a number of sports, growing up. Why was sports so important to you, and what was your why that kept you moving?
Um, it was simple for me. It was really because, and I always tell this story, and I don't want to come off like such a troublemaker, like I was a bad kid, but just like every other kid that was misunderstood, it was the savior for me. So
Mhm.
every time I would go to school and I would get in trouble or get the principal had to call home, and it would never be that experience in sports. It would be like, oh, everything went smoothly. I was one of the starters. Like my team would be winning. So it was something that I knew that I had to keep near and dear. Oh, and the only way that I could do that is if I excelled in school. I always struggle with excelling in school, but it would be like I would do like just the bare minimum. Like I'd get C's so I wouldn't get in trouble just so I could be able to play sport.
Yeah. So sports was that catalyst. Sports
Mm,
pushed you to get to college. It
mm,
kept you in class. It kept
mm.
you out of trouble. Was playing college sports something that was on your radar, or did it just kind of come to fruition because, like you said, you were a starter, you got the attention for being a starter, and then the calls started to come? It doesn't matter, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, calls start to come, and it's a dope experience. But was that on your radar young as a young wrestler, as a young football player? Was that something that was on your radar?
So it was like I want to say it was my dad who always told me that I had no choice but to go to college, right? So during my whole school period of going to school, I would be like, how am I gonna make it there? Like if I'm not good at going to school every day, I'll go to school, I'll go to class, I would never miss class. But if I would go and I would try to get an A and I would get a B or a C, how would I make it towards college? And I remember it was based off of like one day I turned on the television, right? And college football was on. And it was Michigan playing, I think, Rutgers. And Rutgers was a school that was closest by us.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan's helmets were so crazy, and I've never seen nothing like that. So I'm just like, it all clicked right there. I was just like, all right, if I'm gonna go to college, I gotta go to that school and play football for that school. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I started getting into the research of the school and how they have the biggest at the time they had the biggest stadium and people will go crazy. And I'm like, I have to go to this school and play at that school. So it was like that kind of thought process, like, all right, if my dad says I have to go to college, then the college that I want to go to is the University of Michigan. And whatever I got to do to get there, I'm gonna try my hardest to get there.
Mm-hmm. But obviously that didn't pan out, right?
No,
And we end up Division III for a
yeah,
reason, right? And
uh-huh.
I can remember when Coach Sheptalk would show us videos of our defense being run by Virginia Tech, because I remember we ran the same one. And um I think it might have been Grande or something like that. He's like, Coach, I don't run a 4.2. I can't get to my drop as fast as that. And that was just like always kind of resonated. And my brother, like, also, I guess he showed some of the same videos of them of Virginia Tech, because my brother was part of the first defense that Shep Talk put in from Virginia Tech.
Okay.
With the defense that we ran was the same one that they ran back then. So my brother would tell me about that also. And I just remember kind of becoming a fan of Virginia Tech. I'm a Florida State fan. I always will be, but I
Mhm.
remember just becoming a fan of Virginia Tech because they were running the same scheme that we were running in college.
Mhm.
And we would be like watching the game and be like, we know what that play is. We know what they're running here. We know what their coverage is. We don't do it the same way. We don't play as
Mhm.
well, but we know what it is.
Mhm.
For you, you said you wanted to go to Michigan. Obviously that didn't pan out because you and I played
Mhm.
Division III together.
Mhm.
How did you reconcile with that, where you were like, okay, Division I's not going to happen, Division II is not going to happen, I'm going to go to school here? How did you finally decide that going Division III and not staying in New Jersey, where there were a ton of schools around you, schools that
Mhm.
we ended up playing against? How did you end up at Wilkes and figure out that Wilkes is where you wanted to be?
So it was like it's like a chain reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was thinking about the University of Michigan, I had no idea about what Division I or Division II or Division III was. I just thought they were all college football.
College
So
football.
so then when the athletic director sat me down and he was like, "I see your grades and I see you took the SATs 5 times. Jay, unfortunately, no Division I school is going to allow you to get into their school with these kind of grades." So I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, "Damn, I thought it was over. I thought it was just like, all right, it's like I can't play the Division I school. I'm done. I'm done. You know what I mean? I have no idea." And this is why I always like. It's like we spoke about this. It's like I never ever in my life would bash anybody. I don't bash none of my coaches or I don't bash anybody, but I just feel like coaches only put D1 in your head, so that's all you know. But if the
Mm-hmm.
coaches knew about D2 or D3, you know what I'm saying? If kids could know about Division I, Division II, Division III from, let's say, freshman year, certain kids can still have or play football after high school if they knew about it, right? But I didn't feel like most coaches told kids about Division II or Division III schools. You had to learn about those on your own. And I was fortunate that one of my assistant coaches, his son was in our age group, Chester. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
his dad, once I found out I couldn't go to a D1 school, his dad took us around to like 10, 15 Division III schools, bro. Like in and out of New Jersey, Pennsylvania. So I was just like, damn, I could still play college football. Like I thought it was over for me. I was like, I remember I asked every coach the same question when I get there. I'd be like, yo, coach, so my grades ain't meet the NCAA sliding scale. Like, am I sure? Are you sure I'm gonna be able to play? And then he was like, yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm like, oh, they bullshit. He's like, no, for real, you can play. So I was like, oh, all right. So I was like, all right. So now I got to figure out which school I'm gonna go to. So I'm like, I started doing all these visits, right? You remember Dubs? Was Dubs there when you got there? I think Dubs was there for
He
like a
was.
year, but
Yep.
like you know what I'm saying. So it was like when I did all these visits, did all these overnight visits, and they were all cool, right? They were like, all right, whatever. I could kind of see myself here, but not really. Like I went to Wilkes and met Dubs, bro. And literally he took us around the school and it was just like his energy matched my energy. And it was something that was similar. I had no idea he was a senior. I thought he was
Yeah.
like, or a super senior. I had no
Yeah.
idea. But it was just like, I was just like, bro, coming. And then when Shep Talk sit me down, and I'm like, he probably said this to every person that sat down in that chair, but he was just like, I could I could see with you, we're gonna win a championship. I was sold. I was sold, bro. I was sold. I was just like, I told my dad, I was like, I'm coming here. I don't know where the hell Wilkes-Barre is. I don't know how we got here. I'm going here. And I was like, because we're gonna win a championship, and I'm gonna have a ball. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be able to graduate. You know what I'm saying? Which I didn't really feel that way when I went to the other school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They'll all be like, oh yeah, they'll take you around, and this person ain't graduated, and this person. My dad asked the same question. He asked the same question. What's the average for all your football players to graduate? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 5.5, 6 years. And my dad be like, nope, nope. My son needs to graduate in 4. I'm
Yeah.
looking at him like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all. It was like when it was really the energy, and I tend to move off of energy in everything that I do, and it spoke to me when I got there, and I could see why now. You know,
Yeah. And Shep didn't lie either, man. We got a
Mm-mm.
championship. You graduated. You know, you everything, and we had a ball. We had a
Hey,
good
we
time,
we had a good
and
time,
we had a
man.
good time,
We
and
had
that's the thing that I think. And like I said, before we came on, I was telling you, I've seen, a lot of college campuses, a lot of big Division I campuses, and they're obviously fun. And, but the things that we were able to do at Wilkes with just having fun, playing ball, going to class, and it was so much fun because everyone knew each other and everybody had each other's backs, right? And
hmm
that was like the biggest thing. And when you and I played, I mean, you graduated what 1 or 2 years before I did, but when we were winning, the stands were packed. The people, we rushed the field when we won a title. Like there was so much confidence in us to the point where Coach Sheptock had a championship T-shirt on before the game even started. Right, we had those championship shirts as we walked out of the locker room. So like Wilkes had such a huge impact on the two of us because they just gave us a chance to grow and
hmm
learn and do the things that we needed to do. I mean, hell, I changed my major a couple of times before I realized I wanted to do the things that I'm doing now. So like it had such a huge impact. And when we were there, we didn't realize that we would go on to do the things that we do now. And now you're involved in a ton. And there's a good amount of different businesses and things like that I've seen you do. What are some of those things that you were fortunate enough to get involved in once you left Wilkes?
Man, it's truly been an extreme journey. Like again, like I stated, I always wanted to make it to the NFL. It was a true dream of mine, and it was derailed when I decided to go to Division III football. But
Mm-hmm.
when I got to Division III football, Julian Morales, he was getting scouted by the NFL, what meant to me that there would be an opportunity for me to get scouted when my turn came. Um, which led for me to play in arena football
Mm-hmm.
when I left Wilkes. My senior year, Grande, he was coaching for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pioneers. So that
That's what I
allowed
had
me,
my internship with. That was my first ever journalist job.
so that allowed me to get the true experience of playing at a professional level, which also allowed me to then get scouted by the Arena One League and then have my tryout with the Philadelphia Soul and the Jacksonville Jaguars, not Jaguars, Jacksonville Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
So that allowed me to have those experience of playing at a professional level. And when you're at that level, it's like a sliding door, right? They'll call you up to the NFL to go get a quick tryout, but then they'll bring your ass back down. You start to realize, they just wanted the extra body. You know what I'm saying? You start looking at the game a lot differently. So after
Mm-hmm.
2 years of playing arena football, I was just like, I beat my body up. I was hurt, never like ways I'd never been playing outdoor football. I was like, I had to call it quits. So it's a long version. I'm gonna give you the short version of the story. You know what I'm saying? I went to work for Enterprise, Undercard, got a great, you know what I'm saying, the management trainee experience at Enterprise, understand the ins and outs of business in a real environment. My father has started this company. I started working with him, and I started learning how to really like pitch businesses to my friends. Like, yo, my parents have this business. I know you need business cards. I can get you a banner. I can get you a big sign. whatever it may be. And naturally, like some of your friends might gravitate to it and some of them might not. But in that process is how I met the artists that I work with. You know what I'm saying? And it just allowed me to be creative. Like he's an artist, so I'm like, yo, have you ever thought about getting your logo digitized? And he's like, how do you do that? So I'll get the graphic designer to come down. We all chill and we make his logo come out to life. And now this logo is available digital. So he doesn't always have to paint it. We could just get it stamped. Get a stamp, get a stamp. So that's how the logo became. It's just kind of, it's shaped and molded. So I was just like, when we were together, I'm like, bro, I want to be a part of bringing your brand globally. You know, I don't know the first thing about bringing the art brand globally, but there's certain things that we could do that we added with his management team, added a lot of disruptive art by painting Lamborghinis and, you know what I mean? Bringing a whole bunch of different attention in the art market at Art Basel and art shows in LA. It just made everything like speed up. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're like, and when you're in the moment, you're like, how the hell are we doing this? But it's a bunch of connections and meeting people. And you're like, damn, from one person to another person. Next thing you know, now we're in China making a toy at the factory. And we're like, damn, we making a toy in the factory. Like, this is crazy. And now that we selling the toy. And then from the toy, then we're doing sneakers with Diadora and Foot Locker. And like these things are all catapulting and growing. And we're making decisions, then it's a watch, then it's jewelry, and it's just things happening so fast that you're like, how is this even happening? But you're actually putting in the legwork behind it, like having the
Mm-hmm.
meetings, like being organized, like being creative. Like the pandemic for us was some of the greatest times. Those few years of being just locked in the studio and just being able to come up with ideas and bring them to real live fruition that we could sell to the market, that people really were interested in buying and reselling. You know what I'm saying? It created a whole lane of a world like we weren't even really ready to be into, like cards. Like we used to collect baseball cards as kids. We never thought it would be where the market is now. You
Yeah.
understand? So to be allowed into that market by the top company that makes cards, it's like this is unreal. But it's happening so fast. So it's just like, how do you even capitalize this on this on the back end? Like it's just mind boggling. So I say all that to say from Wilkes to now, it's been a complete whirlwind of different opportunities that's been very beneficial, from business to, and it just allowed me to really think that if you set your mind to anything, it could really come true. You got to
Mm-hmm.
put the work into it, but it really could come true. You know what I'm saying? I never in a million years would have thought I would sit here with you and say, yo, Ryan, I'm a children's book author. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? It blew my mind to even think that I could really do that to fruition. But with all the technology available at our fingertips and opportunities like Amazon KDP, which is one of the largest book publishers in the world that allows people to self-publish their books, it creates a channel for you to put out a product that you feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? It took 3 years for me to from start to finish. I rewrote that book 4 or 5 times in the process. You know what I mean? Initially it was 35,000 words and now it's 36 pages. You know what I mean? Because it's like I had this grandiose idea about telling my life story. And then one of my editors asked me, who like who would want to read it? You know what I'm saying? Like she said, Jason, would your 18-year-old self want to read this? I looked right back at her. I said, my 36-year-old self don't want to read this. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, you wrote this book for yourself. But that's
Yeah.
important. That's important. Take the lessons that you got in your life and put them in the book and make them simple and plain so that somebody else, when they're faced with those same decisions and lessons, know to continue to battle, to keep on going. How many people from your football team, right? Your high school football team was super nice, but didn't play past their senior year.
Yeah. A lot of them. A lot of
You know
them.
what I'm saying? Super nice. You're like, bro, if some of these cats would have came up to Wilkes, they could have balled for real, for
Yeah.
real. some odd reason, life told him not to play football for 4 more years, or you know what I'm saying, take that lesson and journey. Maybe they might not even have known that they could have played at Wilkes, or you know what I'm saying. And I always tell that to a bunch of my homies. I'll be like, bro, I wish all y'all would have played college football because all of y'all could. You know what I'm saying? Y'all thought like, oh, I might have been the top recruit, but it's like all of y'all could have played. You know what I'm saying? Kurt was there with us. Chester was there with us. Sean came there. We had the ball. Eric Wisdom came there. It's
Yeah.
like Kevin Drakes came there. Like
Yep.
it's like, bro, it was an opportunity for us to just keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to keep that thing going as long as possible. I didn't ever want to hang up. After I played arena, I still played semi-pro. I was kicking these old dudes' asses just because I just couldn't give it up. You know what I mean? I couldn't give it up.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's really hard. And before we get to the book, I want to know, like, I don't know if you saw the clip, but I just posted a clip of my conversation with Andre Williams, who played for the Giants and was a running back for the Giants, Doak Campbell winner when he was at Boston College. And I asked him, how did you know it was time to stop playing? Right? How did you know that this was it? I need to move on to other things. And he obviously gave me his answer, but I want to know the same for you. You said it was tough to hang it up. How did you know when it was time to truly move on to business? And were you like a lot of us who were kind of lost when you're no longer an athlete?
Yeah, yeah. Super lost. You know, in a sense, to be honest, I still feel somewhat lost. Like, because
Yeah.
there was no more comfortable that I ever felt on that gridiron. Like, I can't explain it because as playing so many different sports, like out of all the sports that I've ever played, I never felt more comfortable than on that gridiron. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even days on this planet, I feel lost. Like, I feel like even as I'm in my journey, I feel lost because I'm still searching for that feeling of completeness, of wholeness, as team togetherness, like I felt on that field. You know what I mean? But I knew that for forever that you couldn't play football forever, right? Like
Yeah.
no matter what, you know what I mean? And what always it always baffled me when I would see players older than myself still trying out, even for like the arena league, right? So it's like I'm still trying to play the arena league because I'm trying to get to the NFL. I'm not trying to get to the arena league. I'm trying to get to the NFL, right? So if I'm 22, 23, and I see somebody walk in here 28, you trying out for the arena league. I'm like, I could tell my mind's not where your mind's not where my mind is. My mind's not where yours is. God bless your mind because I wish I could be that in that space where I could still think that I'm gonna make it there,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm too realistic of a person. You know what I'm saying? Student loans is due. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like real life bills is due. I'm trying to begin my life, so it's just like I realized like I knew if it wasn't really panning out, I had to give the dream up. It was an easy thought process for me, and plus, like I said, I had this degree. I was just like, how could I make money with this thing that you guys made me get? Now I have it. Like let me put it to a test, and it still hasn't worked. You damn degree, it still hasn't worked. I'm out here hustling.
Yeah.
I could have been doing that since day one. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I
So
feel you. I feel you.
it's,
So I want to dig into the book. You said,
it,
and I'm also working on one myself. But what was the catalyst to the book, right? What inspired you to want to put a children's book together? And for those that are listening to this, not watching it, you have the title on your sweatshirt. But what's the title of the book? And what was the just like the push behind writing it?
all right, so I'll start with the title, right? The title's Big Fella, Small World. And it's an ode to Shaq. You know what I mean? Like in a sense, because Shaq always calls all the big guys big fellas. So I always, when I look back in my story and I always think back, I always be like, I was always like the biggest kid in the room. You know what I mean? And Ryan, you know me. I'm not that big. I'm 6'2". Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I always embodied this like big characteristic. So it's just like I always had that, and I always looked up to Shaq, right? So it was always like this childlike way that Shaq would tell stories or resonate with the kids that I always want to embody when I'm talking to the kids. Now, working with this artist, King Saladin, I've literally been able to speak to schools. I've done a TED talk. I've talked to kids all over the world, but I've always wanted to leave them with something. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I spent 30 minutes with you, but you don't know who I am really. Let me just give you something so you could just understand that I've been through the same things as you. You know what I'm saying? These
Mm-hmm.
are just the life lessons and the choices that I made in the book. You know what I mean? In the book, at the back, I put an index of Division One, Division Two, Division Three, because at the time my I didn't know my senior year that there was Division One, Division Two, Division Three, high school. So if I could give this to a kid that's in eighth grade and now he knows that there's three divisions, that opens up his mind to know that there's a way bigger opportunity for him to play college football than that little light that he's going to be searching for. Now, granted, I want you to search for that Division One. That makes you want
Oh
to be at
yeah.
the top. You know what I mean? The top tier. But if you don't, it's okay. There's other schools, and those schools' talent isn't really the difference. I can tell you that sometimes some Division 3 kids will whoop a Division 1 school. I'll tell you that, right? You know what I'm saying? I'll vouch for that as somebody that played. You know what I'm saying? Because when I got to arena and all those people had D1 schools behind their name, I was beating the fuck out of them. I was beating their ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I earned my position because it wasn't no difference. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
only difference was the facilities or what the school brought or how you were recruited or you had the grade levels to do so. You know what I mean? So I look at those things all the time as an opportunity to really just keep your dream going. So back to the book. My fault. I'll be rambling. Um, it was just something that I wanted to be able to leave with kids when we spoke at these schools. Like, yo, here's my story. Check it out at your leisure. And I wanted it to be a children's book, like an illustrated children's book, because I know one of the biggest issues that we struggle with here in the United States is like kids don't read at their level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be something where they could be like, oh, I could take this and not feel like, I'm reading a retarded book. Oh, big fella gave me this book. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I went into the library, I got this book, and you're laughing at me because I have a little kid's book. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and as we sit here today, I just mailed off a copy to Shaq. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be in his hands by next week, and that's like another dream come true. You know what I mean? To be able to get this book in the hands of somebody that I idolized my whole life and try to almost emulate and want to become in the world of sports and in the world of business, you know? So it's just been a dream come true.
Yeah. So I wanna kind of look back and this kind of sums everything up of looking back at your life, your career as an athlete, no matter what division, no matter high school, and I want you to end the conversation one by giving us a piece of advice, something that you've learned throughout your career, and then also telling people where they can get the book, telling people where they can see any part of business that you have going on. But then also, like I said, give us that piece of advice, something that has resonated with you. Maybe it's something that you learned, maybe it's something that somebody told you, or something that was just kind of unspoken and just kind of an epiphany moment, right? But give us that piece of advice and let us know, where we can find the book and some of these other things that you're part of.
So one of the like I always use this quote and it's from my book, right? And it's like for years I've always known how how great my body could be. But to find out the creative brilliance of my mind was an eye opener. Um, it's like we're all used for our bodies. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so. We put it on the line and it's done gratefully for us, right? But at some point that shift for us to be able to almost make money out of a thin air just based off of ideas that's in our brain is very capable. We just have to tap into that. You know what I mean? It might seem like it's impossible, and sometimes it does seem like it's impossible, but sure as I'm sitting on your show today, you know what I'm saying? That we've gone back 20 years of conversation. Anything truly is possible. You know what I mean? So it's like I tell the kids, dream as big as your heart desires. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. You know, like I said before we got on this call, I'm about to embark on another journey, another challenge. You know what I'm saying? And I stand here right in front of you. I'm telling you, I'm terrified. You know what I'm saying? Not, and again, not because it's like Ghana. I'm comfortable in Ghana. It's because it's a new journey, and I don't know what's on the other side of it. And my dreams are that big that it does scare me that if this does work out, I'm gonna have all you motherfuckers come to Ghana. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have all you come to Ghana because I'm just going for leading by example. Like everything else I've done, I'm leading by example to show people that there's an opportunity there, and you're not gonna want to miss this one. You know what I mean? It's huge. So just tell everybody, man, dream big, fight for everything you believe in, and believe in God, and everything is gonna be good. One thing I did want to say about this call, because I always used to tease you about this, right? It's like so many times, right? We we it was like, all right, I don't know how to explain this, right? Because it was like this. I always used to say how Krieger left my school and went to your school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then like this don't have to be aired, right? But it's like it was like when he came to your school, he almost disrupted your your normal,
Yep.
right? The things you knew as normal. But when he left my school, he shattered everything I knew was normal too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like I always try to tell kids like love your coaches, right? But don't let the coaches determine who you are gonna be or your skills are gonna be. Because they're going to be in your life for a period of time, not the whole thing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And if you base it off of just that person, then it might disrupt where you're trying to go in life. You know what I'm saying? Because when he left and I ain't had no coach to wrestle with, that was like I lost one. I only lost one more match. You know what I'm saying? Than I did the year before, but it was a key match because the motherfucker was bigger than me, and I would everybody I would wrestle in practice was smaller than me, so I'd just be fucking them up. And now it's like now I wrestle this kid bigger than me, man. He's just doing shit that I'm just like, damn, I can't really. You know what I mean? But it's always been. And another thing that's so crazy to talk about with coaches, right? So you know, on with the book that I came out, I reached out to all my old coaches and prior coaches to
Mm-hmm.
be able to like either speak at their current programs or like wanted to reach out to them. So I reached out to my high school coach, who I always thought I had a great rapport with. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, no, thank you. So I was just like, and it was one of the first people I reached out to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I thought it was in the bag. So it was just one of those moments, and this is what so many people are faced with these moments, and this is where it makes people quit. It makes people want to not do the shit no more. It's like, damn, the people that I thought that was going to be a guaranteed sign up so I could go speak about my book said no. I think I should just quit. You know what I mean? But then I ended up reaching out to more people, and more people signed up, and I've been able to do a few book tours. I went back to my old high school. I went back to Wilkes. I did one with a community the community out here in Philly. I'm signed up on November 25th to do another one at the school in Philly. It's one of those things that no matter what in life, nobody should make you quit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just keep fighting for what you believe in, and it's gonna come true.
Yep. So where can people get the book?
You can find it on my website, bigfellaglobal.com, BIGFELLA global.com. Also available on Amazon. That's who definitely published my book. If you guys are ever thinking about writing a book, I can show you how to do it in like 3-4 simple ways. You know what I'm saying? I have the idea, throw it in Chat GBT, let it organize the idea. Write out your story from the organized outline. Then take your story, send it to Fiverr, have them um, have them format the book in whatever way that you want to format, for paperback, Kindle, hardcover, and then once it's formatted, then you just upload it onto KDP at Amazon, and you decide what you want your revenue splits to be, and then just market the shit out of it. You're a published author.
There you go. There you go. Well, Jay, listen, man, this was great. Like I said, I always love chopping it up with people that have been on the same campus as me. Um, walking the same paths, just in bigger footsteps and in a little bit different direction. But it's been awesome to see you come out with your book. It's been awesome to see the different things that you've been doing with art. I want to wish you a lot of luck as you move to Ghana. You talked
Thank
about
you,
that a
my
little
brother.
bit, and I
Thank
know
you, my
that's a
brother.
that's a journey for you. You're a little bit nervous,
Bro.
but I think if you keep the same big heart and keep moving forward, you're gonna be just fine. But man, like I said, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, talking about how you discovered a lot of these different things, and it's been awesome to be sitting here with you again, man. But let's definitely stay connected and keep doing your thing, man. I'm proud of you.